If you're searching for premier neighborhoods on the north side of Katy, chances are you've run across some fabulous homes in Cane Island or Elyson. And both are excellent choices, but are a little bit different. So today I'm going to cover the differences between the cost, location, amenities, and schools between the two neighborhoods. Hi, I'm Carolyn Bauerschlag, a local real estate agent helping people just like you relocate from all over the country right to our great city. Let's get to it. Of course, one of the primary differences that anyone's going to consider when they're choosing between neighborhoods is cost. And the first one that we're going to chat about is the price range of these two neighborhoods. So in Cane Island, I would say it's a little bit more expensive than Elyson. If you're considering Cane Island, it's going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of about $365,000 to get your foot in the door. And prices go all the way up to $2.4 million. So there's a little bit of something for everybody, which is kind of surprising when you consider that there's only 2,200 homes in Cane Island itself. Now, Elyson, on the other hand, is nearly triple the size. They have almost 6,000 homes that are projected for completion within that community, and they have price ranges that go anywhere from $265,000 up to about $1.4 million right now. Now, those values are obviously going to change over time, but in general, as it stands, it is less expensive by price alone to get your foot in the door over in Elyson. Now, the devil's always in the details, right? The cost of a home isn't just isolated to the price that you pay, it's also the carrying costs that you're going to experience while you live there. And I would say taxes are a major driver in anyone's decision. So right now, the tax rate in Cane Island has come down, mercifully, to about 2.97-ish overall for the year. Now, that's still high for a lot of people's blood, especially if you're coming from out of state where you're used to something like 1% for property taxes. But it's important to know that Cane Island taxes did used to be 3.75%, and in about 8 years, that has dropped to finally below 3%. Now, Elyson, because they're newer into their new construction life cycle, their tax rates are still elevated. So their tax rate is going to be right around that 3.25, 3.26, so a good quarter point higher than if you're living in Cane Island. And of course, another carrying cost is going to be your HOA. Right now, HOA dues in Cane Island start at about $1,600 for the year, which is pretty steep relative to other HOA communities in and around the Katy area. In Elyson, by contrast, for 2026, they were projected to be $1,385, so a good $250 less-ish than living in Cane Island. I say that those are the starting fees because there are gated sections in the neighborhood, and when a section is gated, those prices do go up. Now, these HOA dues aren't just paying for nothing, and we'll touch on those amenities later, but I would say that Cane Island is a little bit higher, and they do have a reputation for that. Now, one of the hidden costs of homeownership that I don't think is talked about enough, and you can't really Google this one, is that Elyson sits on a toll road, right? So I-10 is an interstate, it's free, right? You don't have to pay to get on to I-10, and Cane Island sits right on top of I-10. Elyson sits right up against the Grand Parkway, north of I-10 and in between 290. And that leg of the Grand Parkway is toll road only. So if you consider like a household is likely to have 2 drivers, and that driver is likely to leave home and come home every day, that is 4 tolls that you would be experiencing just to get in and out of your neighborhood on a daily basis. Your minimum toll is going to be somewhere around like $250, right? So $10 a day for like minimum travel up and down the Grand Parkway could honestly be stressful or irritating to someone who's going to occupy that home. So if you are considering a home in Elyson, make sure to consider that hidden cost that really does come along with living there. So to quickly summarize, Elyson is technically less expensive to get your foot in the door by almost $100,000 on purchase price alone, but there are higher taxes and there are higher tolls associated with living in an Elyson home. Now, the second major thing that you have to consider when comparing these two neighborhoods, of course, is location. Now, I touched on this a moment ago, but let's dive a little bit deeper. Cane Island is extremely attractive to a lot of people because of its proximity to I-10. If you live at the front of the neighborhood, I-10 or Cane Island runs pretty much north and south. But if you live like closer to the front of the neighborhood, your commute to getting to I-10 is probably 4 or 5 minutes, which is really hard to beat for any neighborhood within Katy ISD. Even if you live at the top end of the neighborhood or the newest parts of Cane Island, which is further north, you're looking at 9 or 10 minutes to get to the freeway, which is not bad at all. Now, if you live on Elyson, you have to pay that toll, as I mentioned before, to either get to 290 or get to I-10. And from there, people don't usually just work at I-10 and the Grand Parkway. They don't usually just work at 99 and 290. Like, those are still residential areas. You're probably still going to have to get onto another major freeway to get to work, wherever work is, right? So I would say people that are commuting downtown might find Elyson cumbersome because you have to go north or go south to then go east to get into downtown. Whereas if you lived on or in Cane Island, you would just hop on I-10 and go into downtown. So I would say commute is probably a key factor in where people are choosing to live. Now, Cane Island's not all just sunshine and roses. Full transparency, there is a Buc-ee's right at the I-10 Cane Island intersection, and that Buc-ee's is a zoo. Who doesn't love Buc-ee's, right? Like, I love Buc-ee's. But what they did is a roundabout right in front of Buc-ee's, and no one knows how to drive. Like, it's just a fact of life, right? So there's 2 lanes that are constantly going in a circle, and like the stop or like the amount of traffic that you run into from Cane Island to get through that roundabout is a pain. Now, plans are already in place to redo that intersection. It's just that they had to have like a critical mass of people before they would build like I-10 as an overpass over Cane Island so that people could go under. So right now you go around a roundabout and then you go up a bridge to turn right to go, or to turn left to go east on I-10, which is a pain, but that will change over time. Now, a third major factor to consider when you're debating Cane Island against Elyson are going to be the amenities. And these 2 neighborhoods offer a little something different. So Cane Island was developed by Rise Communities, and Rise Communities came through and they said, hey, before we build out this entire neighborhood, we're going to spend a lot of time and money on building out the amenity center right from the jump. And this was a huge factor, I think, in Cane Island's overall success over their 8 or 9 year build out. So the amenities village was a little bit different than what some of these other communities offer in that they created kind of like a resident like living center, like a hub. So they have a restaurant that's right in the middle of the neighborhood. And there's like a living garden right outside the neighborhood where you as a homeowner can go and clip like your own herbs or like harvest some veggies if you so chose. They have this beautiful greenhouse where they grow some plants that they do eventually put out into the neighborhood. But that greenhouse is really aesthetically pleasing. And people use it to rent for baby showers or even for small wedding receptions or small parties or photo shoots or whatever. So as a resident, you can just reserve that space. And it really is quite lovely. Out in the outdoor areas, they made these really beautiful, like outdoor, indoor covered patio areas, like with these huge sliding glass doors. They have fire pits. They have this huge green lawn. And Cane Island really created a lifestyle, I suppose. So they had to have an HOA kind of director, and like you'll see a lot of events that go on like in this green space. So they have like a fall, a spring, and a winter festival, like open markets, a Christmas tree festival. Like they had vintage car shows, like just really fun ways to kind of engage the community. And they also took a lot of time to make sure that the parks and the attractions for the children of the area were really happy with that as well, right? So Paperback Park is a really popular one, beautiful miles of walking trails, tons of beautiful vegetation, a lot to like about Cane Island. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that they do have one central pool, but it was split between 2 spaces. So there's like an Olympic style lap pool, which is more or less, I would say, adult only. Obviously, if you're a lap swimmer, you could be like older, but that's kind of your calmer pool. So even if you're not swimming laps, that's where the adults go to like sun or read or just enjoy the outdoors. And then there's a water park style pool that's directly next door. They do have a fitness center, which is really pretty as well, where you can like go in and have like over 200 self-guided classes. Like if you wanted to do like a spin class or a yoga class or whatever, like they have everything's on video for you to be able to use. Now, Elyson, on the other hand, was developed by Newland Communities, and that development is ongoing. Very recently, Elyson just opened up their second pool area. So they started off as having one clubhouse, one major hub with its own pool, an event lawn, and like pickleball courts, walking trails, all that good stuff. They just opened up a second amenities center with another fitness studio, another clubhouse, and another massive pool. So as it stands, those are the two major HOA areas that they have right now. And Elyson is projected to have 6,000 homes that build out, and that's not quite 3 times the size of Cane Island. So it's not fully visible on their website right now, but I would suspect that over time, you're going to see a massive increase in the number of parks and pools and overall amenities within Elyson as well. So if variety is important to you, I would say you're probably going to get a little bit more variety within Elyson than you are in Cane Island. Something to know that is important is that if you are dog lovers, so are both communities. Elyson made a dedicated dog park, but like Cane Island didn't have like a dedicated dog park, but they are super dog friendly. So you'll see like little doggy stations like all along every walking trail. When Cane Island opened, they actually had a mascot. His name was Hub, and he was a really cute golden retriever. So if you are a dog lover, rest assured that your pup has been accounted for in both communities. And the fourth major thing that anyone is going to care about when moving to either Cane Island or Elyson is going to be the school districts. So let's cover the differences really quickly. In Cane Island, you're going to be exclusively zoned to Katy ISD schools. And in fact, 2 of the schools are going to be like the OG Katy schools. So in Cane Island, like many other master plan communities, the elementary school is open right within the neighborhood. So you can open your door and let your child ride their bike or ride their scooter or walk to the elementary school without ever really having to get on a major road, which is a massive draw for so many parents. Robertson Elementary is the elementary that you'll see. Very active PTA. Every parent that I've talked to loves it there. I actually have some teacher friends that are there as well, and they rave about it constantly. Cane Island is also very famously zoned to Katy Junior High and Katy High School. And if you know anything about the Katy area, you know that Katyites know that this is a big deal. So many people love to have their children go to as many Katy schools as possible. With the Katy name. So Katy Junior High, Katy High School are both zoned to Cane Island. People are very divided on their opinions of Katy High School. When you go online, if you look at Reddit, some people will say, Katy High School is no good. I don't like it there. They're not as academically competitive. And I'm here to kind of try to dispel that rumor for you just a little bit. I would say it's important for you to know that every Katy High School or every high school within Katy ISD kind of has its own little personality. And Katy High School is one that's known for its football team. It's known for its FFA. It's known for their band. It's known for their athletics. It's known for their fine arts. Like, it's not just academically driven, but by no means is it academically subpar. Every Katy ISD school is going to be an exceptional education experience. And I would say the people that are trying to get into Cane Island really care about it being zoned to Katy High School. And if you're considering Elyson, it's important for you to know that Elyson is mostly zoned to Katy ISD, but a little scooch of it is zoned to CyFair ISD. So if you can visualize it, everything sort of west of Peak Road and up north, north of West Road is zoned to Katy ISD within that Elyson community. So like the vast majority is Katy ISD. And what you have are 2 dedicated elementary schools within Elyson as it stands today. You've got McElwain Elementary, which is on the south side of 529, and then you've got the newly opened Boudney Elementary, which is kind of on the northwest corner of Elyson. And right by Boudney, you also have a swath of land that is the junior high and high school campus. So that's going to be Nelson Junior High, and it's going to be Freeman High School. And it really, right now, as it stands, is the farthest reaching northwest corner of Katy ISD. So if you are in Elyson, it's going to be fairly easy for you to get there. If you're in a different neighborhood zoned to those junior high or high school, it's going to be hard. Like, kind of something to know that you can't Google is that right now those roads are country roads, right? Like, this is the farthest undeveloped kind of like final frontier of Katy ISD. The roads will get expanded when the population justifies the size. But right now, I would say like you're going to be kind of in a stop sign situation on these roads that run in front of these schools. So that's just something for you to be aware of when you're planning your commutes. If you're considering Elyson, do be mindful that anything on the east side of Peak Road in between Peak and the Grand Parkway is going to be zoned to CyFair ISD. It's not that many homes, but if you're super committed to Katy, you need to make sure to check that MLS data, or of course check with your friendly neighborhood realtor. Both Cane Island and Elyson are wonderful communities on the north side of Katy, and hopefully this video here today has helped you determine which one might be the right fit for you. If you're considering a move to the west side, I would love to be a real estate agent. And if you found value in what you watched here today, make sure to click the link below and subscribe. We put content like this out every single week. See you soon.